Freaky fun for everyone. Sold
Leonardo, the katana blade.
Attack the evil Inhumanoid, forcing him back into the earth.
Hey, the name's Boglins. You sold separately.
We battle our human and skeletal each soul separately. You put them out together.
Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful.
Battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat ally.
What's up, Daddy Mayonnaise? What's happening, my brother? What's going on, my dude? What's happening in y'all's world? What's up, Dano? What's going on, my man? Welcome, friends, to the Waffle Mafia podcast, Buzz Off edition. What's going on, everybody? Gonna talk about the Wasp man himself, the old Buzz Off. Heroic spy in the sky. He's that floating little butterfly. And as we do, man, let's have a little pause for the cause out of our beastie tune tumbler, y'all. What's up, Sam Isha Mac, JD Gibbs? What's up, my friend? Dougie Fresh. I'm gonna make sure he gets a free spin. So, good old Waffle Mafia podcast. This is your weekly podcast concerning all things Waffle Mafia related. And if anybody knows anything about the Waffle Mafia, we like us some masters of the universe, man. So, Waffle Mafia podcast, doing a little bit of our normal thing. We catch up on what's going on in the waffle groups, do our weekly waffle wrap up, do a little bit of a character discussion, and talk about what all is going on this week. So, big shout out to Brosvik. What's up? Curtis Lee Rains. Mr. Rains down. What's going on, my friend? Double A, they call me AA Ron. You done messed up now, boy. Yeah, so what's going on with you guys and gals this week? Hope it's been a good week so far. Of course, we're only into Wednesday. It's Waffle Mafia Wednesday. And with that said, Daddy Mayonnaise called it. It is time to get our buzz on, old Maynor. We're going to do a little buzz off, get a little buzz on. And if you're driving, then just, I'll do it alone. So, another pause for the cause. Let's get it in. That's the old Beast Man Tune Tumbler, my friends. If y'all can't tell, I had one or two of these earlier. It's could or could not be my first one. Kinda doubt it. But anyway, what's going on, guys? What's up, Mr. Carlos Espinoza? What's happening, my man? Samisha Max freezing. It has been some chilly weather today. Also, I guess throughout Mafia land, especially over my way, my little part of hometown, Eternia. We've definitely had a little chillier weather today. Of course, Sam Isha Mac, you're just over the hill from me. Y'all part of the KY crew over there, and you guys are really not all that far away. So, 1 or 7 beers in, you never really know. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I always like to make sure that when we come to the show or get to do a waffle, that there are plenty on reserve, and sometimes you have to go back to the fridge. You just want to make sure you don't wake up the baby. That's all that really matters in this world. -4 today. No thank you, Dano. I'm going to pass on that, man. So, of course, the wintry weather, obviously, I guess we'll date this podcast somewhat. It's close to Christmas time, and we're just about 2 weeks out from Christmas, so, hey, what's up, Artemis Prime? Dude, hey, Ron Joke, you know what's up. Hey, it takes a little bit, Rains down. It takes me a second sometimes, man. Hell, I get some of my jokes tomorrow, so it's all good, buddy. It's close to Christmas time, and we're getting, it's getting to be that time of year, obviously. Christmas time, all about giving. You guys know the Waffle Mafia. We have always tried to be very giving to each other, be very loving to each other, to be a big family. And really, that's what these masters groups are about. It's about spreading the love, being a family, and doing it up Mafia style. We we look out for each other, we look out for our own, and I appreciate that from each and every one of you guys, because you guys are what make this thing be what it is. You know, the reason that we have these things, the reason we have these quotes, these stickers, these shirts, you know, all the things that we've done, it's because you guys do it, man. So you guys are the Mafia, and it's always a big shout out to you. Little pause for the cause as we get through a little bit of that Danny do. So, Mr. Dano, hashtag Shirtless for Dano. This one's for you, my good sir. And I'll also give a shout out to my boy Alex, because I know that Buzz Off is also one of Alex's favorite figures. So also one of mine, man. Alex, when I was a kid, Buzz Off left an amazing impression on me as a figure, as a small child. And I have a lot of good memories with that figure, and you know, a little more so, I guess, than some others. So I don't know if I maybe just played with him more, or, you know, gosh, he was just cool because he had the wings. But, you know, I don't know. He's just always one of my favorite characters. I love the color scheme of Buzz Off, and we'll get into a little bit more of that here in just a second. I'm going to make sure that I leave enough time that we actually get through the character profile without me having to rush and cram it in the last 5 minutes. So kind of rework the format just a little bit. We're not going to get so much into who won all these waffles. I mean, there are a few that we'll throw out there as far as more or less what we did, and do our weekly waffle wrap up and talk about that kind of thing. I always lost his helmet. Dude, everybody loses the helmet. That's madness, but it's true. I mean, that's one of the hardest pieces of Motu lore to hang on to, was Buzz Off's helmet. So yeah, I called a pause for the cause, and I don't think I took it. Breaking my own dang rules. With that said, back to what I was going to say a minute ago. The beauty of it is, during the holidays, we always try to do something that is significant, something that has meaning. I know a lot of the members of the group reach out to each other, send each other cards. Big shout out to James Manning and Kisa. You guys will always be super close to me, man. James Manning, one of the first people I met, you know, out in the group, out in the real world. So me and Manlore have always been pretty tight, and big shout out to you, buddy, for the Christmas card. I appreciate that from you and Kisa. You know, Graylin loves you guys, and we love you guys. So thank you much from the Johnson household and the Waffle Mafia. Love all of you. And in that spirit, I want to talk about what we're doing tonight. It's something that I don't know if all of you guys have seen it. The post has kind of been bouncing around a little bit, and I don't know that it's been as prominently at the top of the page as it could have been, or maybe it's seen by as many people as it could have been. But we're doing the Toys for Tots waffle tonight, guys, and I don't know if anybody missed it, or and that, of course, that's over at Lord of Destruction Waffles. So the God Waffler took the helm on this thing last year. We implemented this last year. It was an idea that everybody said, hey, you know, can we do something? And it was driven by the group. The group wanted to do something collectively. And so we did this last year. It was a very awesome deal. Donated the money. And on top of that, we did it just a touch differently, to where if you donate a toy, whether it be mint on card, whether it be loose complete, you know, whatever that may be, that more or less goes into the prize bin. So anybody who donates a toy, of course, you got a spot on the wheel for that. And then, of course, your donation to Toys for Tots you could do to buy additional spots on the wheel. So we have spots left open if anybody's not contributed to that and you want to. No pressure if you don't. You know, it's for a good cause, and it's for something that I think, you know, as far as a group, we felt very proud about last year, that we were able to come together under the 3 or 4 banners that we have and kind of pull all that together. We have so many different banners now, and so many different groups that we have going on, and things that are happening, that it's really hard to keep up with everything. So I know some folks have missed it. Yeah, it's tonight, Dano, so it's really surprising to me. I broke for a toke. Sweeney, I love you, good sir. I'll have a little trawling magic myself just as soon as we shut this bad boy down. Let's have a little pause for the cause and knock it on down. Missed my mouth, guys. Y'all seen that? You know what it be. But no, so with that said, again, tonight is the Toys for Tots Waffle. That's going to be over at Lord of Destruction Waffles. If you're not a part of the Waffle Mafia and you happen to be listening to this at a later time, and you say, what is the Waffle Mafia? What does that do? I've never heard of that crap before. What the hell's a waffle? Hey man, it's check out some of the videos on the pages. Check out what we do, especially if you go to videos on Lucky Legends. There's 1,000,000,005. Anything that starts with a crazy looking wheel that's a bunch of colors. And you got a little bit of life to waste. Go over there and check that out. So, I used to be a bartender, guys, believe it or not. Two things you don't do. You don't put a fat boy in a restaurant. You don't put a drunk behind a bar. And guess what? I've done them both. So, yeah, man. So, still time to get in for Toys for Tots for tonight. Again, that is over at Lord of Destruction Waffles. Lord of Destruction Waffles, first of the waffle groups. That is with the God Waffler, David Karbolka. Followed up by Most Powerful Waffles with John Myslowick. And then myself over here at Lucky Legends. We got our brother from another mother down at Puerto Rico, Mr. Joito Josue. A little pause for the cause for you, good sir. Hope everything's getting back to a normal semblance of life. I know that it's not quite there yet, but we do think about you, man, and can't wait to see you back on the page and posting and doing your thing, spinning that wheel. Nothing. I see nothing. You know that's right. Okay, so what's a waffle? What do we do? What's the Waffle Mafia? Who are we? If you're a member of Lord of Destruction Waffles, Most Powerful Waffles, if you're a member of Law Will, if you're a member of Lucky Legends, you're already in the Mafia, man. Just participate. Share your Master's love. Of course, Lucky Legends, Masters of the Universe only. The other pages as well, but when you get on to some of our other pages that have spun off of the Waffle Mafia, the Great Unboxing, the Great Unboxing, man, please support that site. It's wide open. Do what you want to do. Open boxes. Hell, I've opened Pampers. It doesn't matter what you open. Open a can of beans. Share it with the group. It really doesn't matter. We just want everybody to participate and share what you love and talk about what's interesting to you. And if you got something cool in your collection you want to talk about it. Just go live. Let it share a little bit of your life with everybody. And I promise once you do, you want to do it again, and you get to know each other and get a little glimpse into each other's lives, and then that's how we get strong, and that's why we love each other. So, Waffle Mafia for life. With that said, a little pause for the cause to get this right. And, again, Toys for Tots Waffle tonight. Now, that is going to be at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So David, the God Waffler, Mr. Karbolka, he is over on Central Standard Time. That's going to be 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's 10 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. If you're doing this thing with me right now, it'll be 10 o'clock tonight. But, of course, it's 9 over at David's time. We still got spots on the wheel. Still got time to get in and give if you want to. If not, just come hang out, man. Come see what we do. Come see how that goes. There is also a Toys for Tots Waffle going on not Waffle, I'm sorry. There's a Toys for Tots deal going on. We don't necessarily call it a waffle when it happens outside of somewhere else. But they're doing theirs a little bit different. But Motu Evolution, they are also doing a Toys for Tots kind of deal. So there's still time to get in on theirs. Also, if you want to do that, go over to Motu Evolution, search Toys for Tots on their page. I'm sure you'll find it. Let's see. Did you get your box today, Mr. Z? I did not. I apologize for anybody who has sent me anything and you check the tracking and it says some kind of crazy something about delivered at PO due to front porch, whatever. It's actually just because my dogs, my 8-pound wiener dogs, eat mailmen. So I have to go to the PO and pick everything up because they won't deliver here. But anyway, so I will hopefully have that in hand tomorrow because I'm very interested in getting my box, Mr. Zertush. I got to share that with the group and share with everybody. We got that Z-Wheel, baby. That Z-Wheel's been doing all right this past week. I've already lost my Savage He-Man. That was my Zertush custom. Of course, that was courtesy of the Z-Wheel. And Trinity Hendricks took that bad boy from me. But other than that, we haven't hit the Z space but once, and of course in its inaugural run, the thing gets slammed. So these beautiful Zertuche customs, they're still going to be around. They're still going to have that Z space in effect. And of course, what I'm talking about, spaces, spots on the wheel, whatever that may be, for each and every person that gets in the podcast and says something in the comments and talks to me, I don't care if you can call me an idiot, you are going to be in it to win it. Now, if you call me an idiot and you win, I may not tell you, I may keep your stuff, and I may just give it to somebody else. So, what you say? Pause for the cause. And let's get this character profile underway. You guys come to hear about Buzz Off. Let's talk about him a little bit. Had an awesome discussion in the group this past week. Don't talk with your mouth full. Like I said, awesome discussion group this week. Got kicked off, me and Stevie Alphabet and Dano and a couple other folks. J.D. Gibbs was in on it, I think. Brosvik was in there. Hell, the thing just got way out of hand. It didn't get out of hand. It was awesome that we had that much stuff going on. Happened to your Shadow Weaver. Danny Maynor, you always trying, man. The conversation started a little bit earlier in the week, or last week. It's like, oh man, this is like an awesome topic for the podcast. And we started talking about Buzz Off and Stratos and how, Buzz Off versus Stratos, how would that play out? If you guys haven't read that thread and you're interested in it, sort of the Buzz Off versus Stratos thing, search it in Legends. You can actually go to the top and search things and search for keywords. And it was a discussion that was taking place last week. So if you kick back last week, and it's headed up with a picture of Stratos and Buzz Off in the air. So it's a very cool conversation, man. I appreciate that, Kelshaw. You may be an idiot, but you're our idiot. That's right. Brother, there ain't nobody I'd rather be. I tell you this right now. I know there's a lot of things going on in these groups right now, and I know that, that kind of stuff happens. And Lucky Legends ain't exempt from it either, man. Waffle Mafia, we've had our growing pains. We certainly have. And we went through a lot of things in the early days, and I know a lot of you guys remember that. For those of you that don't, that's in the past, and we let her slide. But this Waffle Mafia, baby, that's a safe place to come hide, because we take care of our own, and we make sure that we just kind of check that stuff at the door, and that's all I'm gonna say. We love each other, we take care of each other, and I wouldn't want it to be any other way. So pause for the cause, because we take care of all of ours, baby. And now let's get it in. Let's talk about old Buzz Off, my friends. So I'm going to kick it on back here. Now, I am going to take just a second, and before we get to that, because I did want to talk about that Winner's Choice Wheel that we did this past week. We did that for Syrupy Saturday. It was a lot of fun. We've done it once or twice. We did it again this week, Winner's Choice Wheel, more or less. Just throw up a bunch of classics figures, and if you guys win, pick who you want. I mean, it doesn't get much simpler than that. There's some of them fully complete, some of them not. Some of them have extra stuff. I always try to disclose that before we do it. But again, we did Winner's Choice on Syrupy Saturday. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys playing. Got rid of a Classics Hordak, Classics Keldor. Let's see, who else did we get going? Hummel. Who did you take? I cannot remember, man. I've got it wrote down, because all of that stuff will be shipping out on Friday morning, because Thirsty Thursday will go out with that. Of course, tomorrow night, Thirsty Thursday, as we do anytime that we talk about somebody during the podcast, that is typically who we talk about during Thirsty Thursday. So, ye old Buzz Off, you guys have seen him hanging around here for a while. Good old Buzz Off is ready to find a home. He is Classics. Doesn't have his tiny little axe, but he does have his beautiful lance, I guess you would say. Big old huge lance axe thing, which is very cool. So there's Buzz Off in all his classics glory. If you guys are maybe just new getting into the line or didn't know that there is a classics line, this is classics Buzz Off. Again, everybody on different levels, man, just dealing with the same devils. So there it is. No, we all on the same level. We just dealing with different devils. That's what it is. We'll pause for the cause, my friends. So we're going to do old Buzz Off tomorrow night. He is one of my favorite figures as well, Samisha. That glasses took a beating. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about the old Buzz Off, yo. Buzz Off, listed in a couple different ways, and this is interesting because if you'll notice when I put the little promo out here for tonight, and look at this, I have 5 minutes to do the character discussion. Jesus, Johnson, this never, ever, you'll never get it. You'll never get it. 30 minutes is not enough for me. It's just not. I ain't no minute man. I mean, I am, but sweet baby merman. So here we go. It's empty. That's empty. This is now empty. Good God, guys. No wonder I can't get to the wrap up. I'm just damn busy. Oh, too busy drinking. What's up, Candy Man? What's going on, buddy? Yo, Candy Man can. Chris Hummel, what's going on, dude? Glad to see you got you a little shindig page going. Hey, man, anytime you want to do your thing and share the love, you're welcome over here with the Waffle Boys, son. You know it. You know that you part of the family when you jump on in, so that's what it be, and that's a beer to you from me. When I did the promo tonight, I listed we're going to get down with the Wasp Man, and I listed hell, I don't even know how I worded it now because I was way more clever earlier, but it had to do with Wasp Man, and the reason being I did that on purpose, because if you guys have the big compendium book, if anybody has the compendium and you've actually read on Buzz Off, one of the things that Buzz Off is listed as is the Master of Wasps. And so that was very surprising to me because obviously when we look at Buzz Off, now this is Bug Zapper Buzz Off. This is a variant. He's been hanging around Lucky Legends for a while, but this is old Bug Zapper Buzz Off. For those of you who are driving or listening to this at a later time, Buzz Off got a little got a little action up on his wing, got in that a little close to that zapper, but you know, it be what it be. But anyway, so Buzz Off, as we've always known, just sort of we consider him to be a B character. You know, you look at him and you think color-wise, color scheme, you know, got the wings, appears to be a B. So, serious question, why did he come with those goggle things? Wily Cat, we're going to talk about that, dude, here in just 1 second. Appreciate you asking that, man, because I also had that same question. Why would you need that? If you've already got the insect eyes, why do I need this helmet visor? But the interesting thing about Buzz Off is if we look at his origin and where he actually started, his character is very far from where he originally sort of started off as. And I found that probably to be the most interesting thing when I'm researching the figure and just kind of trying to find little trinkets of information that you guys might find interesting that, you know, kind of blew my mind as well. But it's one of those things with him, you know, and oftentimes what we see, some of the other folks that we've done, Man-at-Arms, we know that concept art or the original concept for the character is just a touch off from where the final character ends up landing. In Buzz Off's case, very different. So, listed as Master of Wasps, the Lord of Adrenos, and the Heroic Spy in the Sky. In 1985, Heroic Spy in the Sky, that was how he was carded. That was how he was listed on his card art. However, in his earliest incarnation, he was known as Bug Off. So he wasn't Buzz Off, he was Bug Off. And what I thought was really interesting, it says from the 1982 Master's Bible, he was part man, part beetle. But he had high-tech wings. Now, keep in mind, this is 82 Bible. He had high-tech wings. So, if we look very closely at Buzz-Off's wings, I know you guys have probably inspected them before. They have these cool little, like, electrical conduits or whatever that may be inside the wing. And, man, that's just really cool. So, as a kid, I did used to look at that, and I thought that it was, electronic in some way or, whatever that may be. So, I thought it was interesting that it said, but he has high-tech wings. His sword and lance are his stingers, and his beetle-like armor protects him from the many dangers, including some of the laser weapons of Skeletor and his crew. So, the original concept for Buzz-Off was actually Bug-Off, and he was a beetle, and so he could use his beetle shell to protect himself, yet he had these high-tech wings. Now, it did go on to say that in 82, Colin Bailey did an illustration of what was called Wasp Man. And this is where the wasp thing got started. So we were Wasp Man. Now, he did have a lot of the same elements of Buzz-Off. And like I said earlier, I'm going to pull this up because I do want to show this to you guys. I know it's 8 o'clock, and I apologize to everybody who would be upset at my constant running over of a podcast. Taylor. It's a Belgium dip. But let me pull this up here real quick. And I want to show this to you guys because this to me is very interesting. And Joe Amato did a little shout out to Joey Boom Boom. I don't know if he's in the room. But Joe actually did a custom of this figure. And I believe, if I'm correct, it was very, very beautiful. And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sorry this took a little longer than what I was planning. I probably should have had this pulled up before we got rolling. But what I wanted to show you guys is, here is the look at Buzz-Off as he was listed as Wasp Man. So, if you'll notice, very close to the final design of what we got, notice he has a humanoid face, and the helmet is a bit more, that's where the insectoid look comes from. Now, it says, we had He-Man's head with brown hair. So, oh Lord, let's don't get into a brown-haired debate about He-Man. But we had He-Man's head with brown hair, limbs from Zodak, a large helmet, and some large wings. So, what am I talking about? They actually made a prototype of this, guys. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I know that Joe Amato, I am almost certain he did a custom of this. But if you guys will check this out, oh my goodness. So, notice you have a brown He-Man head. You have the thin wings. Of course, they're not the electronic sort of interesting wings that we had before. We've got a helmet, but the helmet is a bit more insectoid. And notice the feet and the hands. We are borrowing from Zodak. So, interesting that we had a repaint there for Zodak. So, very cool parts reuse again. Now, interestingly, after that, Roger Sweet designed Mandible Man. So, Mandible Man, he a little more closely fit the Bug-Off description. Mandible Man obviously had the hard shell. It says, although the design showed new parts dated it after the sculpt. So what we saw was, even though Roger Sweet did a design for a Bug-Off or a Mandible Man, he did use elements in the design that were already there for Buzz-Off as far as this clawed hand, so that we know that it did happen after the figure occurred, and we know that Mandible Man happened after Buzz-Off, at least the concept art, because he drew parts that had never he drew parts that had just recently been created. Prior to that point, they had never been created. Therefore, we would have never had them. So, interesting information there for Roger Sweet. Buzz-Off's character, when we look at his vintage figure, there is some parts reuse on this guy. And what's super interesting, to make a custom Wonder Bread He-Man then. Yes, everybody needs a custom. Take your Wonder Bread He-Man, make him a Bug-Off or a Buzz-Off or whatever that prototype might be called. I think it's cool. Mouth's getting dry. Can't have that. Little pause for the cause. Now, parts reuse. You guys know that parts reuse happens quite a bit in Masters. Interestingly enough, of course, with Buzz-Off, you guys know we have the closed claw, we have the open claw. Open claw, parts reuse. We have the legs, very interesting. The toes, the way the toes are designed, same thing, toes. So a lot of parts reuse there. Of course, everybody's reusing the undershorts. You know, those are about the same on everybody. Got your loincloth and whatnot. But interestingly enough, if you look closely at Buzz-Off, and we'll use Prince Adam since I don't have He-Man right handy. If you look closely at the bicep, there is no change in that. Now, obviously, there is some different sculpt here and down below, but the reuse of the bicep, the same lines, same places, absolutely the same as what we had on He-Man. So, interestingly enough, for Buzz-Off, he had that same deal. Alright, moving on. Cross-cell art is pretty faithful to final design. The only difference there was Buzz-Off had blue eyes instead of green eyes. Packaging tells you about their awesome action features. They twist at the waist. You can pose the wings. Helmet's removable. We had that Earl McCarthy artwork. There are two versions of that, which is interesting enough. If you look on the card back, and I know some of you guys are vintage men-on-card collectors, and that's cool if that's what you do, man. But did you know that there are two versions of the Buzz-Off artwork on the back there? You've got that Earl McCarthy artwork. Now, it actually is the exact same image flipped two different ways. However, when we look closely at the feet, in one of them, McCarthy gave him a bit more bird-looking feet where there were sort of clawed toes and whatever that may be. And then he went back and did sort of the bigger, the stubbier toes and changed that up too. So just a little interesting piece of knowledge. There are two card backs out there. One is a bit more rare than the other. So for you guys who like that rare stuff, definitely get that first version of that Earl McCarthy artwork where Buzz-Off is going this direction. Because if he's going this direction, it is the more standard, more common one. So there you go. What's up, Johnny Mills? What's happening, my dude? Yeah, they all use the same Eternian gem. Everybody's pumped. They use Trainor. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Trainor. Trainor actually featured on Robot Chicken. He is the Masters of the Universe trainer, man. I mean, you got to have somebody to keep everybody looking that glorious. You know what it be. What's up, Travie Wills? What's going on, man? Your search history came up on the screen behind you. Lord, I hope not. Let's see. So let's see what else we got. He's featured in a lot of artwork. There is a gift set with him and Mossman and Mechanex. There's a 3-pack where you can get Buzz-Off, Mossman, and Mechanex. There is a JCPenney 2-pack that came out with Fisto. He's featured on the Battle Bones box art, the Fright Zone box art. Beautiful stuff for the Slime Pit with Earl Norem. He's featured on that Norem poster from the Slime Pit. He's also on, I'm looking at my wall because you guys can't see it, but it's right over here. They said pictures or it didn't happen. Right back there it is. So there is that. And what you got back there is that He-Man and the Masters of the Universe magazine that has Stridor, the poster with Stridor, and features Whiplash and Webster, Clawful, Fisto, He-Man, and of course our bad boy with the lance flying in from the back, good old Buzz Off. So there's Buzz Off on that bad boy too. Let's see, where else is he featured at? He's in Lake of Mystery with Earl Norm. That was a beautiful piece inside the magazine. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but we've given it away a couple times in Lucky Legends. But that, man, that magazine piece where it splits out and like the bottom part of the lake is whatever's going on, and then there's like the reflection of the top part of the lake. That is a killer picture for anybody who's never seen that. Buzz Off featured in that. Also, he's been in William George's large piece of the good versus evil, you know, good on one side, evil on the other. He's in the Eternia poster. He's most prominently featured in minis, He-Man and the Insect People, the Obelisk, Grizzlor Legends Comes Alive. Honestly, man, I like him in the Obelisk probably the best because he just sort of kicks Skeletor's ass and just runs him off and moves on. So very interesting stuff for Buzzy there. Very cool in Grizzlor's story. Where is my... Jeez, guys. Grizzlor! The terror comes alive. Now, if you'll notice, Buzz Off's on the cover of that. But what we start off with is Buzzy is quite the tale teller. So he's telling of good old Grizzlor, giving us the campfire tale, trying to scare everybody. So that's pretty cool. I always love that mini. He typically came with He-Man and the Insect People, also with the Obelisk. Let's see what else we got. Johnson's paused too many times. Back again, had to find a donation. He was often portrayed in Golden Books. Best appearance as far as Golden Books goes, the Rock Warriors. If you guys do any of the Golden Books, the Rock Warriors are very cool. It's got Buzz Off in that. He's very prominent in that book. Ben Cooper did Halloween costume of Buzz Off. So if you guys remember those Halloween masks that were just incredibly hard to breathe in, but you just loved it. They had a Buzz Off mask of that. 83 Filmation, he was featured X-ray vision goggles. So those were X-ray vision goggles that Buzz Off wears. He had a lance for a weapon that gave off electrical charges. Now, in 1984, the German audio plays, and I know a lot of folks are not familiar with these German audio plays. They were like German audio cassette books, stories on tape. But Buzz Off is featured in that, and what's really interesting, in the audio plays, now keep in mind, this is in 84, he was listed as the Master of Wasps. So once again, we have a throwback to this Wasp Man thing. So really, guys, from the beginning, from the get-go, the idea, it was the Wasp Man. So I think it's really interesting. I think that we could have had two different characters. We could have had a Bug Off, and we could have had a Wasp Man, and had two totally different things going on there. But he was the Master of Wasp. He controlled all of Eternia's Wasp. He lived in a domed castle on Wasp's Rock. Say that 5 times fast after you pause for the cause on that ass. That was located in the Mystic Mountains. He had a fondness for honey. And who doesn't? Gosh, who doesn't have a fondness for honey? I know I do. But there's something else that he had that got us all in a little bit of trouble later on, a little bit of ambrosia, but we'll get on to that too. In 1986, in the UK Motu comic mag, so in 86, in the UK, they had the Masters of the Universe magazine. It was different in the UK than it was here. In the 86 UK Motu mini comic mags, not mini comic mags, it was comic mags, he was often paired with Stratos. Now, this goes to our debate that we had last week about who's better, who would win a fight. Now, we had different versions of Stratos, we had different versions of Buzz Off, we had the MYP, we had Vintage, we had Alcala. Because honestly, you know, in the early telling, Stratos, we've touched on this before, he was listed with the evil warriors. It made more sense. He flew, Buzz-Off flew. Maybe they were against each other. But, where was I going with that? Oh, yes. In 86, we paused, guys. In 86, he was paused. God, we are going to have to end this podcast. Or drink more, one or the other. He was often paired with Stratos. It was established that he was faster than Stratos. So that to me is interesting, that he was listed as faster than Stratos, at least over long distances. He saw with very sharp detail due to his insect eyes. Now, interestingly enough, they point out a couple of times about Buzz-Off that his eyesight was actually his insect eyes that gave him this awesome eyesight. However, it does speak to his prismatic visor that allowed him to see better, and he had very sharp teeth, so that's kind of odd. In 2002, of course, MYP, that is when we learn about the Andrenids. Now, a lot of people think that it was established early on that Buzz-Off being the leader of his people. Believe it or not, it actually isn't that way. And He-Man and the insect people, they do discover a race of sort of insect people, but they were called the Kex, the K-E-X. So the Kex really had nothing to do with Buzz-Off. He is listed early on as, an ambassador of the bee people, and that there is a bee race, a sentient bee race that is on Eternia. But they never actually give them the name Andrenids. So, in 2002, with the Mike Young Productions, the relaunch that happened in 2002, if you guys have never seen 2002 or MYP, please check it out. Especially for this bad boy right here. Love that sculpt on that 2000X Buzz-Off, man. He probably is one of my favorites. And honestly, if you get that Eternian head pack and you put that second head onto your Classics Buzz-Off, man, it amps him up about a notch. So, 2000X MYP, I mean, they really did... They treated the character fairly, and I will honestly say that I do like some other portrayals of Buzz-Off as far as him being a bit more of a master, or being one of the masters of the heroic warriors. I know Tyler Baker over at Fans of Power, he loves it when I say the masters. But Buzz-Off, one of the heroic warriors, Tyler. And that's a shout out to you and Joe Amato over at Fans Power. Love you guys. I don't know. As far as with me, I like Buzz-Off as the leader of the Adrenids. I just think that's awesome that we created a race. They're called the Adrenids. They live in Adrenos. They protect the Ambrosia. So they really just deepen and depthen that world. That's not even a word. It is now. Pause for the cause somehow. But they depthened the world, and I used it again. It was just really cool. And now, the portrayal of Buzz-Off in MYP is very different, and that's what kind of sparked the debate as far as, which Buzz-Off could come to the plate. And I don't know, maybe a little bit older, more distinguished Buzz-Off with Stingrad at his side. We meet other Adrenids in the MYP edition. And if you guys want to see, what episode that is, it's called Sky War. It's absolutely awesome. Definitely check that out. But the problem, I guess, with Buzz-Off in that particular telling, he's very prideful, and he's very, he becomes very reckless when he's challenged or when he is taken to task over being able to handle things on his own. And so his pride actually causes some problems with Buzz-Off in MYP. He doesn't particularly like a lot of ribbing from the other masters. But very awesome portrayal there. And I think if we saw an older... I don't know. It's almost the way that they portray Stratos in that telling. Obviously, we have the Sean Connery thing going on, and that was purposeful. But because of that, he's much more believable as a leader for the Avions or for the Avionians, and that makes more sense to me. I would like to see that particular Buzz-Off. You know what? When Buzz-Off becomes an older bee, what kind of bee will he be? You know, will he be an established Sean Connery bee? Or will he still be a prideful, youthful bee? We never got to see because MYP went away. We still got 7 folks watching. I appreciate you guys hanging out, man. I'm sorry I've run it so damn long. We've been almost an hour. But either way, we're going to get out of it and call it a day. He did not really get involved until the Ambrosia got stolen. Then he later on jumps in. He just hit puberty. You know that's true. Morgan Freeman bee. That's what we need, dude. If Sean Connery was the inspiration for the MYP Stratos, I agree. I think we need a Morgan Freeman Buzz-Off. That would be freaking amazing, Curtis. I love it. Let's see what else we got. Finish it up. Hey, shit, that's it. Oh, it did list. One last thing I want to tell you guys. When you get into the Classics BIOS, it does list Buzz-Off as leading the Adrenids and, of course, the Lord of Adrenos. He leads them into battle against the Horde and the Snake Men in the second Ultimate Battleground. So, Buzz-Off still yet a part to play. Of course, tomorrow night, we'll get it underway. Somebody might get themselves a Bug Zapper Buzz-Off. Get you a Classics one, too. And maybe ye old Buzz-Off from 2002. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out. It's been Waffle Mafia Podcast. Still want to say a few things real quick before I get out. Of course, hey, man, get over to Dave's and whip it about. We're doing the Toys for Tots thing tonight. That's going to be 9 o'clock Central. I know I said that like 327 times earlier. But y'all, please, if you can do anything with it, man, feel good about yourself. Feel good about stuff. Let's try to help some kids. There's some kids that need to have a Christmas, man, and we need to do that if we can. So we get to be big boys and enjoy our toys, and so let's share it when we can. I appreciate the love and appreciate all you guys. Thanks for everything y'all do, and thanks for hanging out with me, man. It's the Waffle Mafia, fool. I'm going to take us on out. We'll do a little pause for the cause, and that is the Beast Man Tumbly, y'alls. Appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you over at Lord of Destruction Waffles there, Gator. Get over there, man. We're going to do that Toys for Tots. And if you ain't in it, man, still come hang out there, Thought. Oh, the rhyming's starting. Johnson, better watch out. These beers done hit my mouth. I love y'all. Talk to you later. Peace.